Chapter 93, First Show. Shocked the whole audience. Please subscribe, please vote. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Who will win the championship? Is it the undefeated Shrek Academy? Or the Sun Moon Royal Soul Master Academy that came from behind? Or the Royal Academy of the major empires? Everyone's eyes were filled with anticipation, and they held their breath, waiting for the first game to come. Let's invite the players of Tianling High-Level Soul Master Academy to play. That the players of the Unlucky Academy walked out dejected. Soon, as the referee announced the start, the players of Tianling High-Level Soul Master Academy were easily defeated by Shrek Academy. Although Tianling Academy had low fighting spirit, it was also trying its best. But with the cooperation of Kai Kun and the three cannons of destruction, they were no match at all, as Kai Kun activated his fifth soul skill. Hearing the cock crow and dancing. Cluck, that everyone couldn't help but dance to his rhythm. During this period, the three cannons of destruction set up their soul guides and eliminated them directly. What kind of soul skill is this? A soul skill that can make people dance. That the participating colleges were also watching Shrek College's debut at this moment. Seeing such an outrageous soul skill, their hearts twitched. This soul skill is very strange, and the control ability is also very strong. Even some powerful team leaders can feel that there is a fluctuation of mental power in it. The referee was stunned for a moment, and then said in a deep voice, Shrek College wins. Yeah. Kai Kun turned around and clapped his hands with the three cannons of destruction, obviously feeling very satisfied with each other's cooperation. Wang Yan's eyes were a little dull. He didn't expect the game to end so dramatically. Then he looked excited and applauded the players who walked off the stage. Good performance, but a little ostentatious. Kai Kun said coolly, we have shown mercy, but our other players haven't taken action yet. That the voice was loud and spread throughout the competition area. Then he held his head high and led everyone through the college representative teams. That's Hanyu. That when the Shrek team returned to the hotel, Bebe remembered that there seemed to be a familiar figure in the crowd just now. What? Hanyu? Impossible, Su Sancher said with a look of disbelief. Did you see it wrong, Bebe? That the eyes of others immediately looked at Bebe. Now Bebe was not sure, he just felt a little familiar, but he didn't see it clearly. I just think it looks a bit like it, Bebe replied. Wang Yan said, okay, even if it is Hanyu, it is only participating as a reserve team. His teammates are not as good as our Shrek. It's a pity. Wang Yan felt deeply sorry for Hanyu's departure. If he hadn't left, he would probably be a member here. Others also knew Hanyu. When they heard his name, their reactions were different. Wang Dong looked like he was gritting his teeth. Xiao Zhao's beautiful eyes flickered, and her face was blushing from time to time. I don't know what she was thinking. As for Jiang Nan Nan, her expression was complicated. To be honest, the two had only met once, but for some reason, she would think of the handsome boy who grilled fish for her from time to time. Maybe it was because there was no more grilled fish to eat after he left. Unexpectedly, after Huo Yuhao heard Hanyu's name, his face was calm and he did not react at all, but from his trembling body, it can be seen that he was not so calm. Now that I have this soul skill, sooner or later I will surpass all of you. Huo Yuhao thought secretly in his heart. Okay, you rest here, I will go to collect information for you. Just as Wang Yan was collecting information about the major teams, the competition of Zhengtian College began. The team this time was against an unknown small college called Sanluo College. The captain was a soul master, and the rest were soul masters. Langya looked at everyone. It's time for our game. We need to show our momentum in the first game. Outyan, you. Elder Langya, the opponent is very weak. Why don't you let Yumundi take Yuan Gun Gun and the others to play? The young master and I should stay off the court. Long Outyan suggested. Just a piece of sand, not half as good as me. Hanyu crossed his arms and nodded indifferently. It's just a good opportunity for Gun Gun and the others to practice and help them gain confidence, Langya said helplessly. Okay. He also agreed that the two of them would not play. If the seeded players had to play against these small-scale colleges, it would be too much of a compliment to them. Yumengdi, Yi Wuqing, Tang Xiaolei, Yuan Gun Gun, Vina, Lon Susu, Lon Luo Luo, you guys go. I only have one request, that is to be fast, Langya waved his hand domineeringly. Don't worry, Senior Langya, half a minute is enough, Yumengdi promised, and then strode towards the competition stage with everyone. Both parties retreat. You can release your spirits only after I announce the start of the match. Also, you cannot use fixed spirit guides during the match. Do you understand? Understood, the players on both sides nodded, then slowly retreated and stood in position. Yuan Gun Gun took the lead and stood at the front. As the only defensive spirit master in the team, this position was no problem at all. Behind him, Yumengdi and Yiwuqing were on the two sides. After that, it was the archer Tang Xiaolei, and the Lon Susu sisters. Vina, Yumengdi said, you don't have to do anything later. Let me and Fatty eliminate them. Tang Xiaolei in the back sneered, I think you are too depressed to vent so quickly. Tang Xiaolei, are you looking for death? Yumengdi's face suddenly couldn't hold back. He had accumulated countless anger when fighting with Han Yu and his group of perverts in Zhengtian College. Seeing the angry Yumengdi, Tang Xiaolei shrank his neck and said nothing. The others nodded and gave the stage to the two. Under the stage, Long Outyan imitated Han Yu, crossed his arms, raised his head slightly, and said calmly, Brother Han Yu, what do you think of this game? Han Yu felt a little funny in his heart. He didn't know who started the Benti sect. Now everyone likes to cross their arms when talking to others. Could it be that they think it's very handsome? Han Yu looked at the stage, looked at the strength of both sides, and shook his head. This game should be over soon. Long Outyan nodded without comment. The strength of the two sides is indeed quite different. Zhengtian Academy has 3 Soul Kings and 4 Soul Lords. It is far from being able to compete with Sanluo Academy, which only has 1 Soul Lord. At this moment, the captain of Sanluo Academy looked at the configuration of the players of Zhengtian Academy and sweated profusely. The game begins. With the referee's shout, the players of both sides immediately released their martial spirits. Surprisingly, except for Yuan Gun Gun and Yumengdi, the others slowly walked to the back after releasing their martial spirits, and it seemed that they had no intention of attacking. Angel Possession. Martial Spirit Possession. Yuan Gun Gun's body shook, and fat suddenly filled his whole body. The whole person swelled rapidly and soon reached the extent of about 3 meters. As his strength increased, the magnitude of his body size increased, and a strong breath rose from his feet. Yellow. Yellow. Black. Black. 4 soul rings shone brightly and instantly filled the whole field. Wow. The whole square and even the competition area were in an uproar. The 3rd soul ring of 10,000 years, the 4th soul ring, on the top of the imperial city. Su Jiawei stood up suddenly, almost falling from the top of the city, his eyes full of shock. He quickly grabbed the guardrail of the city wall with his right hand, steadied his body, and said in disbelief, Prime Minister, which academy is this player from? Why is he so perverted? I thought the players of Shrek Academy were already very talented, but I didn't expect that there are people who are more like monsters than them. Judging from their age, they should be less than 15 years old. The Prime Minister of Xinglua Empire also had a dull look in his eyes. Upon hearing this, he quickly called an official to the side and asked in a low voice. Then he said, Your Majesty, they should be members of the Zhengtian Academy of Tianhun Empire. Su Jiawei's eyes flashed, and he said with a jealous tone, Tianhun Empire, good, good, what a shit luck, why is this kind of genius not from our Xinglua Empire? What a pity, what a pity. A strong sour smell permeated the entire imperial city wall, and all officials dared not say a word. Now the Tianhun Empire and Xinglua Empire are jointly resisting the Sun and Moon Empire, and there is a feeling of brotherhood. Su Jiawei's mood was extremely complicated at this time. On the one hand, he was afraid that the Tianhun Empire was not strong enough to withstand the pressure from the Sun and Moon Empire. On the other hand, he was afraid that the Tianhun Empire was too strong, which would lead to the imbalance of the strength of both sides. Su Jiawei said in a deep voice, Send an order to arrange them in the top box of Xinghuan Hotel, don't neglect them. Jiao Mei, find time to contact these geniuses. Even if you can't win them over, others are not bad either. Yes, brother. A girl in a goose yellow dress next to Su Jiawei responded. The girl was extremely beautiful, as if she was a goddess walking out of a poem. Her long golden hair with a soft luster fell gracefully, tightly bound by an exquisite golden hair crown, adding a royal dignity. Her figure was like the most exquisite sculpture, slender and full of power. Her white hands gently rested on her lower abdomen, as if guarding the secrets cherished in her heart. The noble temperament that naturally emanated from her made people feel awe. She is the eldest princess of Xinglua Empire, Su Jiawei's sister, Su Jojo. At this time, her beautiful eyes kept looking at the players of Zhengtian College. With a light glance, she happened to see the handsome boy standing under the competition stage. The boy had a middle-parted spiky hair, his hands crossed in his arms, his head slightly raised, a curve at the corner of his mouth, and he was wearing the same school uniform as the players of Zhengtian College on the competition stage. He had a long sword on his back, his eyes were fixed on the direction of the competition stage, and his face looked indifferent. Is he also a player of Zhengtian College? But why not play? Hanyu, who was under the competition stage, felt a gaze coming at him and frowned subconsciously. Then he looked in the direction of the gaze and saw Su Jojo, who turned his head away. A meaningful look flashed in Hanyu's eyes. Su Jojo, I didn't expect to attract their attention so quickly. Chapter 91 has been reviewed. If it doesn't pass later, it will have to be tomorrow. Please subscribe and vote. Thank you all. Chapter 94. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Lolo. Don't be like this, please subscribe, please vote. On the competition stage, a dazzling light shone, reflecting the cheers from the huge auditorium around it. Yuan Gun roared, and his body suddenly expanded and turned into a huge meatball. Its surface was as white as jade and covered with protruding veins, and it rotated faster and faster. The whole person was like a cannonball shot from a huge cannon, soaring straight into the sky, and then rushed towards the trembling Sanluo team, bringing up a strong wind. At the same time, Yumandi followed closely, her long sword shining with cold light, the tip of the sword pointing to the sky, as if even the stars would tremble. Her speed was so fast that she actually surpassed Yuan Gun in mid-air, like a silvery white lightning piercing the sky. When Captain Sanluo saw this scene, his face was probably as pale as ever. He knew what a powerful opponent they were facing, and his voice was trembling. Quickly, concentrate your firepower, we must stop them. Before he finished speaking, Yumandi had already descended like a god, holding an angel holy sword shining with golden light. She shouted, Holy glory cross cut. The golden light spread instantly, like an arrow of sunlight, piercing the haze in the competition field. Yumandi swung his sword quickly and released a shining cross sword energy. The speed was as fast as a meteor piercing the sky, cutting the air with sounds one after another, boom boom boom. Like thunder, the sword energy hit the shields of the Sanluo Academy players, erupting with a deafening bang. The powerful attack power of the Soul King level was vividly displayed. The members of Sanluo Academy were almost swallowed by this power, and they could only unite as one and try their best to resist. Following closely behind, Yuan Gun also arrived in front of them at an even more alarming speed. His first and second soul rings shone one after another, engraved with strange symbols, and he shouted. The art of doubling. Then he yelled, Egg impact. In the astonished eyes of the audience and opponents, this huge meatball expanded again, breaking through common sense and instantly becoming larger, reaching a diameter of 4 meters. Seeing this scene, the expressions of the Sanluo Academy players changed from fear to despair. A glimmer of understanding flashed in their eyes, knowing that this battle was very difficult. The screams and shouts of the audience reached their peak at this moment, and the entire stadium seemed to be shaken by this power, and even the air trembled. Monster, this is a monster. A look of fear flashed in the eyes of a young team member, and he was trembling. Even despair could not cover up the fear in his heart. Another team member's face was ashen, and a trace of despair that could not be concealed flashed in his eyes. Next moment. Ah! Oh! Ha! 7 different screams echoed throughout the entire competition stage. Each scream was like the sound of a broken string, filling the air on the high-hanging arena. The 7 figures were in a state of disarray, flying out in various directions, like driftwood being beaten by huge waves, and hitting the cold and hard ground feebly. Done, The referee wearing a regular referee uniform sighed softly, his eyes were filled with sympathy, and he slowly glanced at the Sanluo Academy players who were still groaning on the ground. He understands the cruelty of this game and the helplessness of the loser. Then he announced, "Zhengtian Academy wins." The sound echoed in the stands around the arena, causing a burst of cheers. The cheers and noise of the audience created a sharp contrast on the stage. "Let's go back to the hotel." Langya smiled with satisfaction, full of the confidence of a winner, and then he led the team towards the exit of the venue. "Gun, you are really outstanding this time." Tang Xiaolei patted Gun's shoulder with a hint of envy in his tone. He himself is eager to show his strength in the game, but his skills limit his performance and can only eliminate up to 5 opponents. Just when the team was about to leave the competition venue, a crisp voice rang like a morning bell, interrupting their pace. "Everyone, please wait." Hanyu immediately stopped and looked towards the source of the sound. A hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. Isn't this the princess who secretly observed him for a long time at the top of the city? The princess walked closer for a long time, with a soft smile on her face, and said softly, "Everyone, I am here for a long time. With the end of the knockout rounds, there are a lot more vacancies in the hotel. Your Majesty has specially rearranged the rooms for you. This is a small consideration for you. Please come with me." Hearing this, Langya smiled slightly, nodded and said, "Then there is Princess Laojiaju." Hanyu carefully looked at this princess who valued both intelligence and beauty. From a close distance, she was indeed beautiful, and her graceful manner when walking attracted everyone. As Su Jojo led the way to the hotel, the team finally reached the top floor of the hotel. Seeing this special treatment, Hanyu couldn't help but be a little surprised. This was originally a treatment that only top academies such as Shrek could enjoy. Obviously, Su Joe is a very good person. After Su Jojo settled everyone, he left, leaving them enough space and time to adapt and think. In her opinion, through this small contact, you should first make your face familiar, and the rest can come slowly. She confidently believes that relying on her own methods, these people will eventually fall into her hands. Hanyu didn't care what she was thinking. At this moment, he was lying on the soft sofa with a comfortable look on his face. Lan Luoluo was lying aside, holding a grape in his hand and putting it into his mouth. The corners of Long Outyan's mouth twitched as he watched. "Luoluo, you eat it yourself, I'll do it myself." Feeling the strange looks from everyone around him, Hanyu waved his hands in embarrassment. "Come on, open your mouth." Lan Luoluo ignored his resistance and forced the grapes into his mouth, then glanced at Wei Na provocatively. Wei Na shook her head and laughed, and glanced at Hanyu helplessly. After spending these days together, she also understood the ambiguous relationship between several people. Hanyu looked resistant, but in her heart she felt like she was enjoying it. Wei Na did not expose him and turned around and walked towards her room. It's gone, what are you looking at? If you have that time, why not practice hard?" Langya's loud voice rang out, and soon, only Hanyu and Lan Luoluo were left in the entire hall. There were only 2 people left in the hall at this moment. "Hanyu!" Lan Luoluo screamed in disgust. Hanyu's expression changed and she shrank back slightly. "Luoluo, don't call me that, I'm scared." Who knew that this action would only increase Lan Luoluo's arrogance, and she crawled forward with both hands. The body also slowly approached Hanyu, and finally lay directly on his chest. He raised his head, his beautiful big eyes blinked, and he exhaled softly. "Hanyu, don't you like me? Why do you still return the favor after I take such initiative?" Feeling the warm breath coming from his face, Hanyu felt helpless in his heart. This girl is ready to force her to have a baby. If you say she likes her, she actually quite likes her. Compared with his elder sister Lan Susu, his younger sister Lan Luoluo is more lively, and she is also his favorite type. "Luoluo, haven't I said it a long time ago? Now I just want to focus on improving my strength. I don't want to." Hiss. "Why are you letting go?" The corners of Hanyu's mouth twitched slightly and his body stiffened. A smile flashed in Lan Luoluo's eyes, and he said with a smile, "Really? But your body is not as honest as you said." After saying that, she shook slightly to indicate that she had exposed your trick. This. Hanyu smacked his lips and his face froze. He felt the relief coming from somewhere, and an unknown fire rose in his heart. He took a deep breath, suppressed it forcefully, and said in a deep voice, Luo, you are playing with fire. You will piss me off later, and you can't afford the price. What's wrong with playing with fire? I just like playing with fire. Aren't you convinced? Luo continued to move his white hands. Following her movements, the anger that had been suppressed surged up again. Elbow, follow me back to the house. Han Yu stood up. He was going to teach this little girl a lesson today. Snort. Luo snorted and followed Han Yu to his room. It is indeed a top-notch private room. The decoration is luxurious and the bed is too big. Bang! Luo hooked his toes and the door closed, then her delicate body fluttered and flew towards Han Yu. Han Yu, who was hit by the impact, slowly retreated to the bed, and then fell onto the bed. Seeing Luo's anxious look, Han Yu shook his head helplessly. Han Yu. Luo's eyes were filled with obsession, and he greedily breathed in the strong masculine aura on his body. He stretched out his uvula, rolled it around his red mouth, and licked it. He looked at Han Yu like he was looking at a delicious cake. Well. Am I being forced? Feeling the, in his mouth, Han Yu subconsciously sucked it gently, and the amazing touch spread throughout his body. Luo's pretty face turned red, and then her white little hands launched a direct attack on him, and the terrifying power directly tore his defense into pieces. So scary. Being suddenly attacked, Han Yu's heart trembled, followed by a burst of joy that spread throughout his body. Han Yu seemed to be moving forward in a passage at this time. The passage was a little narrow, but it was passable enough. What was even more strange was that the passage seemed to have a telescopic function, giving Han Yu enough pressure. Luo's cheeks bulged and his face turned red. Apparently Han Yu was so powerful that it was beyond her expectation. Leaving her breathless, he rolled his eyes at Han Yu and continued his action. Luo. Faster. As time passed, the temperature in the passage finally became unbearable for him. He groaned, foamed at the mouth and fainted to the ground. Luo stood up and wiped the saliva from the corner of her mouth. Just when she was about to take the next step, Han Yu stopped her. Lolo, we are playing now. If you continue, you will get injured. It is better to do it after the game. At the end of the game, I will give you a satisfactory explanation. How about buying you some milk? Stay full. When Luo heard this, his face suddenly became dissatisfied. You guys, when you feel comfortable, you won't admit your backhand, right? No, it doesn't matter what you say today. Jia. Luo bared his teeth and claws and rushed over. Seeing this, Han Yu could only follow the trend. Today I will climb over the mountain peaks, step through the valleys, and get a glimpse of the true face of nature. I don't know when it started to rain lightly, and it was pouring, the dragon is roaring, the wind is howling, and the silver lightning is constantly entwining the dragon, making it roar. The wind tonight seems to be a little noisy, even the moon has quietly hidden. In another room, a figure seems to have telepathy, and I don't know what she is doing. I can only see that she has covered herself tightly with a quilt. Please subscribe, please vote. Thank you all. Chapter 95. Something that makes up for the flaws of the Mangekyō Sharingan appears. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Early in the morning, Han Yu walked out of the room refreshed. At this time, all the team members were eating breakfast at the table. Seeing Han Yu coming, everyone looked at him strangely. Han Yu touched his nose, his face was indifferent, came to the living room, picked up 2 meals, turned around and walked towards his room. Why is the boss eating in his room? Can't we eat together? Yuan Gun took a bite of chicken, and then said with a confused look. Eat your chicken, so many things can't stop your mouth. Didn't you see that there is one less person here? Langya said unhappily, looking at Han Yu's room. His heart was full of relief. The young master finally got it. Yuan Gun nodded, not quite understanding, and continued to eat bitterly. Lan Su on the side looked dull, eating breakfast like a wooden man. Su, what's wrong with you? Come, drink some milk. Yumengdi looked at Lan Su with some concern, and handed over a glass of milk. It's okay, Sister Meng. Lan Su subconsciously took the milk handed over by Yumengdi. Ugh. Looking at the white milk in the cup, she felt nauseous for no reason. What's wrong? It's okay, I just don't have a good appetite. I'll go back to my room first. After saying that, Lan Susu stood up and walked towards her room. What's going on? Why are they all so weird? Yumandi's face was full of confusion. At the same time, in the Shrek meeting room, Wang Yan had a solemn face, and a slovenly old man stood in front of him. Master Xian, I am definitely not mistaken. Yuan Gungun and Lan Susu have joined the Zhengtian Academy. Although I did not see Hanyu, I am sure that he is here. Master Xian took a bite of chicken and then took a sip of wine. A flash of anger flashed across his face. They are traitors. The academy trained them, but they just patted their butts and left without even reporting. What is their specific situation? Hearing this, Wang Yan looked like he was about to say something but stopped. Master Xian said impatiently, "Why are you nagging? Just say it directly." Wang Yan gritted his teeth and said, Yuan Gungun's strength has broken through to the soul sect, and his soul rings are 2 yellow and 2 black. Since the Lan sisters did not take action, we can't see how strong they are, but since they can play in the game, they must be strong. Puff, the sudden wine dripped on Wang Yan's face. The strong smell of alcohol mixed with the dirt of saliva instantly made him feel extremely humiliated and unhappy. A surge of anger surged in his heart, but he knew clearly that this emotion must not be discovered by Xian Lao. Suppressing the anger in his heart, he not only had to stay calm, but also had to get rid of the disgusting smell as soon as possible. Quickly taking out a clean tissue from his pocket, Wang Yan quickly wiped the water stains on his face, trying to make himself look less pitiful. Ahem. Wang Yan, I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. You just said that they all reached the soul sect. And there are 2 10,000-year soul rings. How is this possible? Xian Lao smiled awkwardly, and quickly changed the subject with an unbelievable look. Wang Yan smiled bitterly and said, "It's true. I went to collect intelligence this afternoon. Not only did I see it, but now everyone knows it. I'm afraid that their current information has been placed in the conference rooms of major colleges." Xian Lao slowly put away the wine pot, and the chicken in his hand disappeared. This news shocked him so much that he couldn't even take care of his favorite chicken legs. How did they do it? Even our Shrek Academy can't do it. Why can they do it? And they broke through from a great soul master to a soul master in just a few months. Could it be that they took some medicine to improve their cultivation? A lot of doubts rushed into his mind, but unfortunately no one could answer him. Master Xian, do you think it was done by the people of the body sect? Maybe they have joined the body sect now. Master Xian shook his head and denied, "No, it's impossible. The body sect hasn't been on the mainland for a long time. If they joined the body sect, they wouldn't be so ostentatious. Although the people of the body sect have strong physiques, they can't have a 3rd soul ring that is directly 10,000 years old. I believe in the 4th soul ring a little more. The 3rd one is absolutely impossible." Several impossibles came out of Master Xian's mouth, and Wang Yan on the side could feel the excitement in his heart. What he didn't know was that Master Xian was worried about the departure of Yuan Gungun and others, and he was also partly responsible. If he had listened to Wang Yan and tied Hanyu to Shrek Academy, then Yuan Gungun and the others would not leave with Hanyu, and they would still be members of Shrek Academy. If Elder Mu knew that he had let go of such outstanding talents, the consequences would be hard to predict. Wang Yan said, "Elder Xian, what should we do now? Judging from their performance, they are probably not weaker than most academies." Hearing this, Elder Xian's regretful mood disappeared instantly. Ha ha ha. Elder Xian suddenly laughed out loud. Wang Yan, who was standing aside, was confused. Is Elder Xian stimulated? Elder Xian, you. After a while, a smile appeared on Xian Lao's face. What should I do? I remember that Zhengtian Academy was also arranged in the same group as us in the round-robin tournament. Next, beat them hard for me and let them know the foundation of our Shrek Academy. You know, we have 2 soul emperors under the age of 20, and only our Shrek Academy can cultivate them. Finally, I will personally come forward and recruit them back to the academy. I believe that after they have seen the true foundation of our Shrek Academy, they will definitely turn back and finally take the initiative to surrender. The more he talked, the more he felt it made sense. The chicken leg and the wine pot reappeared in Xian Lao's hands. He took a sip of the old wine and made a sound of tisk tsk. It feels great. It's really good wine. Wang Yan's mouth twitched slightly. This familiar scene seemed a little familiar, as if Xian Lao was so confident last time. However, the result was, but Wang Yan, there was nothing he could do. He was just a teacher and could not command Xian Lao to do anything. At the moment, he sighed in his heart and could only do what Xian Lao told him to do. He immediately called everyone from Shrek Academy and started the meeting. What? 2 10,000-year soul rings. Yuan Gun Gun. Hanyu, Lon Su Su and Lon Luo Luo. Everyone's face flashed with shock. The students in the inner courtyard were only shocked that the third soul ring was 10,000 years old, but the students in the outer courtyard were different, especially the second-year students Huo Yuhao, Wang Dong and others. Little junior brother, what's the situation? Huo Yuhao was also shocked at this time. He didn't expect Hanyu to have the ability to help others become stronger. Yuan Gun Gun, he knew, was just a great soul master in his 20s. After not seeing him for a few months, he actually reached the level of soul master, and the third soul ring started from 10,000 years. Of course, he didn't envy this, but if Hanyu also trained him in this way, then he would be stronger than he is now. For a moment, he actually had the idea of defecting from Shrek Academy immediately, but fortunately there was always a voice in his heart dissuading him. That's how he resisted the impulse. At that moment, Huo Yuhao told the information of Yuan Gun Gun and others, based on the information he had access to. Ignoring the shock of the people around him, Wang Yan said in a deep voice, if you meet Zhengtian Academy next, you must defeat them and show the prestige of the academy. The contestants at that time are as follows. Kai Kuan, Yu Shao Jiang, Mia Mia San Pao, Ling Luochen, Huo Yuhao, Wang Dong, Su Sancher. Do you understand? Isn't senior sister Ling Luochen injured? Can she play? Mr. Xian has brought the elixir of the academy. Her injury has healed for the most part and will not affect the game. The elimination round passed quickly, and Zhengtian Academy easily won the next game. Everyone returned to the hotel to rest. At this time, Hanyu came to the Starlight Auction House alone wearing a mask. Hanyu did not hide his actions and told Du Buxi, knowing that he was going to attend the auction. They let him go. This was a small auction, and they didn't look down on it. Hanyu was a little excited. He knew that there was something very important to him in this auction. If his guess was correct, as long as he got that thing, the defect of the Mangekyō Sharingan could be temporarily solved. Following the messenger around, through the long corridor, he finally arrived at the auction hall. It's worthy of being the Starlight Auction House. It's rich and powerful. Looking at the luxurious decoration in front of him, Hanyu sighed in his heart. At this time, 60% to 70% of the bidders were already sitting in the auction hall. Welcome all distinguished guests to the Starlight Auction House. Our auction will start soon. Please get ready, distinguished guests. The beautiful and pleasant voice spread throughout the auction hall through the Soul Guide diffuser. A woman in a purple dress walked onto the stage from one side of the auction hall. With the help of the diffused Soul Guide, the purple-skirted auctioneer whispered. Good evening, distinguished guests. I am Qinya, the purple-level auctioneer of the Starlight Auction House. I will host this auction today. All the Soul Guides auctioned today are below level 6. I hope that all distinguished guests can get the items they are satisfied with. Hanyu had no interest in low-level Soul Guides. His only goal was the last item. One Soul Guide after another was auctioned. Some people exclaimed because they got the right Soul Guide, while others were dejected. As the auction progressed, Hanyu also discovered the Shrek people led by Wang Yan, but because they were all wearing masks, he could only see some people he was familiar with, such as Huo Yuhao, Bebe and others. They also participated in the auction, and Huo Yuhao also auctioned a Soul Guide Ray. When it comes to Soul Guides, Hanyu is stuck at level 3. His soul power cannot be broken through, and some theoretical knowledge is not enough, so he has fallen into a stagnant stage, but he didn't take it to heart. After this competition, All problems can be solved. It's time for Han Yu to officially show his talent to the world. The auction items gradually became more and more precious, and the amount was getting bigger and bigger. Finally, a girl came over from one side pushing a cart. It was covered with a layer of red cloth. In the Soul Master world, the preciousness of the item matches the color of the soul ring, and red represents the degree of a 100,000-year soul ring. Soon, it was pushed to the center of the stage, next to Qinya auctioneer. On the stage, Qinya began to introduce the item and turned it over. A half-foot-long carving knife lay quietly in it. What's going on? It's so mysterious. It turns out to be a carving knife. What a waste of expression. Someone shouted out in dissatisfaction. Qinya was not angry at all, and still smiled as she explained the origin and disadvantages of the carving knife. This carving knife is the soul-devouring knife, which ranks 99th among the listed carving knives and is known as the fierce knife. I have explained the pros and cons to all the distinguished guests. If you are interested, please bid. The soul-devouring knife, the starting price is 100,000 gold soul coins, and each bid is not less than 5,000 gold soul coins. Qinya said with a smile. Looking at the reactions of these people, she knew that it might fail to sell again this time. Han Yu, you must take this carving knife at all costs. It is very important to you and me. Afterwards, I will give you a satisfactory reward. Alex suddenly woke up at this time, and obviously smelled the scent of the gold of life. Han Yu smiled slightly. Don't worry, Mr. E, I know this thing, it is the gold of life. If I can absorb it, my Sharingan can automatically repair itself in the future. Those loads will also be reduced to a minimum. Iluk said, I didn't expect you to recognize the gold of life. You are really young and formidable. The gold of life contains a huge amount of life energy, which can repair the sequelae of your Sharingan after using it. Although it is a temporary solution, it can greatly reduce its damage and allow it to be used normally. Han Yu said softly, and then said loudly, I will offer 100,000 gold soul coins. Ah. Okay, VIP number 188 will offer 100,000 gold soul coins. Is there any other VIP bidding? Qinya responded quickly. Finally, someone bid. If this transaction is successful, her income will also increase. This is a big order of 100,000. But the next person disappointed her. Soul Masters in Douluo Three Kingdoms are already extremely rare, and this is a small auction, and this carving knife has side effects. No one will compete with Han Yu for it. Even the Shrek Academy looks like it is not worth it. It can be seen that no one knows the goods at all, and no one will raise the price if no one knows the goods. 100,000 gold soul coins, the first time. In desperation, Qinya had to start the last three bids. 100,000 gold soul coins, the second time. 100,000 gold soul coins, the third time. Deal. Bang. The auction hammer fell, announcing that this peerless murderous knife fell into Han Yu's hands. Seeing that the gold of living beings was about to be obtained, Han Yu also hurriedly got up and walked towards the place where the items were collected. Please subscribe, please vote. Chapter 96, Absorbing the Gold of Living Beings. Chapter 91 has been unlocked. Brothers can take a. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After getting the gold of life, Han Yu returned to the hotel without stopping, and told everyone not to come in and disturb him. Put the soul-devouring knife on the table. Afterwards, Han Yu's spirit entered the sea of consciousness. Master E, what should we do next? For the purification of the gold of life, we still have to rely on Alex. Next, I need to take over your body and then purify the gold of life. Okay. Han Yu agreed and handed over the control of his body to Alex. You kid, do you trust me so much? Han Yu smiled slightly. I believe Master E. We are one now, we prosper together and we suffer together. What a great one, Han Yu, I didn't misjudge you. Since you trust me so much, I naturally can't let you down. Watch me. After Alex took control of Han Yu's body, his eyes suddenly became extremely cold, and his originally black eyes instantly turned into cold gray. In this dim room, only a few flickering candles illuminated the paintings on the wall and the ancient bookshelves. If you look at Han Yu at this moment, You will find that his eyes seem to be looking down from a high god, ruthlessly indifferent as if examining an insignificant ant. Without any emotional fluctuations, the air in the room seemed to become heavy because of this look, and the surroundings were so quiet that only the sound of his own rapid breathing could be heard. Suddenly, a grey light suddenly burst out of Han Yu's eyes, shooting out like a sharp arrow, hitting the center of the blade of the soul-devouring knife. At the moment when the soul-devouring knife came into contact with the purification power of Alex, the whole room shook, and the books on the wall trembled slightly. Suddenly, a strong curse and resentment broke out from the soul-devouring knife, like an invisible evil spirit, sweeping in every direction of the room without dead ends, and even the ancient clock hanging on the wall trembled slightly, making a low whine. In this chaos, Electrolux growled, as if arguing with the room. Humph. Suppress. Instantly, the powerful light attribute poured into the soul-devouring knife like a rising tide, and the light overflowed, illuminating the dim room. The blade began to tremble violently, as if countless evil spirits were screaming in it, and the faint light on the blade kept vibrating, as if countless resentful souls were struggling, screaming and full of fear. Then, the scream gradually weakened, as if the resentment that was suppressed gradually calmed down, and the tremor of the blade gradually stopped. The soul-devouring knife on the table, the original dark blade, has now changed. The whole blade is shrouded in emerald light, exuding a strong breath of life. At a glance, the blade seemed to be breathing, and the emerald light transmitted a mysterious and huge vitality. Electrolux completed the purification, closed his eyes slightly, and instantly returned to the sea of Han Yu's spirit. His fatigue was self-evident. Han Yu could clearly feel that Ilex, whose breath had dropped greatly, looked extremely haggard at the moment, as if every nerve was twitching slightly. Ilex, are you okay? Ilex smiled slightly. No problem. I didn't expect that I could feel tired just by using a little trick now, really. Okay, put the gold of life on your forehead and absorb it. Ilex urged a little. Han Yu was also slightly excited at this time. According to Ilex's instructions, he put the air on his forehead. In the quiet room, the light blue aura enveloped the surroundings, and the walls were inlaid with various precious jades, emitting a slight chill, which made people shiver. An extremely pure breath of life emanated from the gold of life, and the light seemed to illuminate the entire room. The life energy slowly seeped into Han Yu's eyebrows like a trickle, like a winding river, full of endless vitality. At this moment, the night sky outside the window was quiet and cold, with stars like the sea, and the moonlight sprinkled on the ground through the window lattice, adding a bit of mystery. This life energy was roaming wildly in his body, and every inch of the meridians was gently and strongly washed and expanded by it. Han Yu only felt that the blood in his body was boiling, as if there was an irresistible force that was about to break out of his body. He could clearly feel that every tendon and every acupuncture point was undergoing earth-shaking changes, and every part of his body seemed to be recast. A flash of cold light in his hand, and an exquisite knife appeared in Han Yu's hand. The cold air in the room became thicker, and the light reflected by the blade cast a narrow shadow on the wall. Han Yu stared at the knife, blinked, and did not hesitate in his hand. Stab. The knife in Han Yu's hand slid lightly, and a small wound was immediately cut on the white arm. A trace of blood was about to seep out, but Han Yu was fascinated and his heartbeat gradually accelerated. At this moment, a strong life energy flowed away, and the wound that had just appeared was restored in an instant. The air seemed to be filled with a faint breath of life, and the surrounding flowers and plants looked particularly fresh under the weak light. The healing speed is comparable to that of an immortal body. It seems that my guess is correct, so the pupil power should also be able to recover. Han Yu's thoughts were flying, and he could not hide his excitement. He reached out and stroked his arm that was as good as new, with full of expectations in his heart. It seems that in the next game, I have to find someone to verify it. Just when Han Yu was surprised by the changes in his body, his spiritual consciousness also underwent earth-shaking changes at this moment. In the sea of spiritual consciousness, a golden ball of light was suspended in the air, reflecting the entire space like daylight. Even the sleeping Ice Emperor was awakened. The surrounding scenery becomes clear under the illumination of this light, and everything around is filled with the energy of life. Ilao, what happened? The Ice Emperor, who was about 1.5 meters tall, appeared in the sea of spiritual consciousness with a cold air and a flash of shock in his eyes. the spiritual sea before was like a void, with only the cold wind blowing. Today's spiritual sea is like the real world, with a sun hanging in the sky. The light is warm and bright, making the entire spiritual sea of consciousness glow with vitality. That is the gold of life that has been melted into Hanyu's body. Electrolux's voice sounded slowly. This is the function of the living gold. I sealed the original vitality of the living gold in the spiritual sea of Hanyu. And a small part of the power was allocated to transform the spiritual sea. The changes in his body are just an additional effect of this power of transformation. The transformation of his mental power is the biggest benefit Hanyu got this time. Ice Emperor nodded in understanding. A trace of confusion flashed in her eyes, which obviously involved her knowledge blind spot. Hayuri. Long time no see. Why do you sleep all day long and don't go out for a walk? That the next moment, Hanyu appeared in the sea of spiritual consciousness, and couldn't help but rub his hands on the 1.5-meter figure. Hanyu, this emperor said, don't touch my head. That the Ice Emperor suddenly became furious, waving his hands towards Hanyu. Stop. Hanyu's face became solemn, and he said in a deep voice, Ice Emperor, this is not the time to fool around. My sea of consciousness has undergone tremendous changes, and I need to feel it. Hearing this, Ice Emperor subconsciously stopped her body. Although she felt something was wrong, she still nodded looking at Hanyu's serious look. Hanyu breathed a sigh of relief. He knew that Ice Emperor was about to explode, so he quickly changed the subject. Fortunately, the Ice Emperor was tricked. Boy Hanyu, next I will open up the second sea of consciousness for you. Electrolux glanced at Hanyu with complicated eyes. This process may be a little painful, so you have to endure it. As soon as he finished speaking, Hanyu felt as if his eyebrows were about to split. Pain came over him instantly, almost suffocating him. In the midst of this severe pain, a vertical line appeared on his forehead without warning, like a closed eye. The second sea of consciousness has been formed. With the help of the gold of living beings, I have recovered some memories. Electrolux let out a long breath and his eyes became dark. Boy Hanyu, this is the meditation chapter 1 have been studying during this period. Remember it to stabilize your emotions. Hanyu endured the severe pain between her brows and listened hard to every word. The heart moves at will, the mind is as calm as still water. A large amount of information poured into Hanyu's mind like a tide. He frowned and closed his eyes tightly, trying to resist the bombardment of information. After a while, he broke away from the torrent of information and finished sorting it out. Thank you, Yi Lao. Hanyu clasped his hands into fists and gave a slight salute, feeling extremely grateful in his heart. Although this technique cannot directly improve my strength, it has helped me a lot. He immediately followed the instructions of the technique and found that the hostility in his heart had really dissipated a lot. This is what I promised you, so I will definitely do it. Electrolux stroked his beard and smiled. I will leave first. There was a hint of relief in his voice. As soon as he finished speaking, his figure flashed, escaped into Hanyu's second sea of consciousness, and disappeared without a trace. Hanyu watched him leave, filled with respect in her heart. Then, Hyoki, I'll take my leave now. Hanyu turned his head and looked at the Ice Emperor aside, with a teasing smile on his face. After saying that, Hanyu laughed loudly, turned his palm over, and gently touched the Ice Emperor's head. That Ice Emperor's face turned red instantly, but before she could get angry, Hanyu had already ducked away. The Ice Emperor was so angry that he stamped his feet and stared fiercely in the direction of disappearance. Damn Hanyu, don't let me find a chance, otherwise I will definitely take it back. That while Hanyu was absorbing the gold of life, Zhengtian Academy made another victory and won the first victory in the round robin. At this moment, everyone gathered in the conference room. Langya's face was slightly solemn. His next opponent had already come out, Zhengtian Academy versus Shrek Academy. Although he always said he was disdainful, he was still very cautious in tactics. In the next battle against Shrek Academy, Outyen, Hanyu, Lan Susu, Lan Luoluo, Wei Na, Yuan Gun Gun, Tang Xiaolei, you guys will come together. Be sure to defeat Shrek Academy for me. Let everyone see our strength. Yes. Han Yu looked towards the direction of Xingluo Square, the kaleidoscope Sharingan appeared in his eyes, and the large windmill pattern in his eyes slowly rotated. It's time for people to see the power of God. Shrek conference room. Wang Yan sat in the main seat, he said in a deep voice, the next match against Zhengtian Academy, according to the agreed list, you all will go together and we must defeat them. There are 4 Soul Kings in their team, and we have them too. The rest are Soul Sects, which are similar to us, but you are from Shrek, so you are the strongest. And you have Yuhao's assistance, so the advantage is on our side. Yes. Teacher Wang. The focus this time is on Su Sancher. I need you to replace one of the opponent's Soul Kings, and then we can focus our fire to kill him. In this way, we can form a situation of 6 against 1, and the victory will be tilted towards us. Su Sancher nodded blankly and asked subconsciously, what about me? Bebe said unhappily, you can only wish you good luck. 1 soul sect for 1 soul king is a complete profit. Just admit defeat when you can't bear it anymore. Bebe, how much do you look down on me? Su Sancher said angrily. Wang Yan smiled slightly. Sancher, Bebe is right. After you replace the Soul King, you can resist for a while to buy them some time. Then you can admit defeat. Su Sancher. Xingluo Square, the second round of the round-robin tournament. At this time, the Emperor of Xingluo, Su Jiawei, had arrived at the top of the imperial city early. As a fan of Shrek Academy, he would come to watch every game of theirs in person. Behind him was the blonde princess Su Jojo, and her beautiful eyes were also looking at the competition stage. Jiao Mei, how is the contact with Zhengtian Academy? There was still a while before the game started, and Su Jiawei turned his head and asked Su Jojo. Su Jojo heard this and said in a tender voice, brother, how can it be so fast? I just showed goodwill to them yesterday. But seeing their attitude towards our Xingluo Empire is good, I think there is a certain chance to win them over. Su Jiawei laughed, yes, I took it for granted. This matter will be done slowly. There is no rush. There is still a month before the end of the competition. We have plenty of time. By the way, how is the preparation for the auction going? At this point, Su Jiawei's eyes flashed with a gleam. It is being prepared. It should be ready in no time. Haha, that's good. Let them fight each other. Anyway, we will benefit in the end. Su Jojo smiled, brother, I find that you are getting worse and worse. Su Jiawei sighed, there is no way. If we have enough strength, I will not bother to play these tricks. Hey, there are 2 new faces in Zhengtian College today. At this moment, the sharp-eyed Su Jiawei saw Han Yu and Long Outyan from the Zhengtian College team. Strange, they don't look very old. The 2 Soul Kings were replaced yesterday. Could it be that these 2 are stronger? Brother, the tall one is called Long Outyan, a Soul King. Then the handsome boy is called Han Yu, and his strength is. Thank you for the reward from the big boss of the award, thank you. Please subscribe, please vote. Chapter 97, Battle against Shrek Academy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Soul Lord, Su Jojo told Su Jiawei the information he had investigated. The Soul Lord is indeed good at his age, but today we are facing off against Shrek Academy. Is it really appropriate to send him on stage? Su Jiawei was puzzled that the Zhengtian College representative team replaced the Soul King and sent a Soul Lord instead, but no one could give him an answer at this time. Now both teams have reached the rest area. Wang Yan in the audience looked a little better. The opponent only had 2 Soul Kings on the surface, but Shrek had sent out 4 Soul Kings. No matter how you look at it, Shrek has the absolute advantage. Bebe and the others naturally saw Han Yu, and their expressions suddenly became complicated. I didn't expect Brother Han Yu to actually come to participate in the competition. I really can't figure out why he left Shrek Academy. Obviously they have won the championship in the freshman assessment, and they will definitely receive the focus of training from the college. At this time, Xiaotao and others also came to watch the battle and heard this. Xiaotao asked doubtfully, is this cold rain very powerful? It looks like you are all feeling pity. Beibei gave a bitter smile. Sister Xiaotao, you don't know, that the emotions of the audience in the audience have also reached the highest level at this time, and they cheer for Shrek Academy. In their view, today's showdown is a strong showdown. Many of them have also watched Zhengtian College's games, and naturally know that Zhengtian College is also very strong, but most people still prefer Shrek Academy. After all, for thousands of years, they have won every championship. This kind of competition is almost as if it was specially held to expand their influence. Shrek. Before the game even started, most people started shouting. The referee came on stage, holding a trumpet-like soul guide in his hand. The third round of the round robin, the first game, the two teams, the Shrek Academy representative team, the Zhengtian Academy representative team. Please enter the waiting area for both sides, and the captain will come on stage to draw the game method. Because Captain Xiaotao was injured, the Shrek team sent Kai Kun to the stage to draw lots. As for the Zhengtian College representative team, Long Outyan took the stage. As soon as he stepped onto the competition stage, his eyes suddenly stared sharply at Kai Kun. The sharp eyes made Kai Kun's heart tremble, and he shouted subconsciously. "Ouch, what are you doing?" That the soft and greasy voice made Long Outyan feel uncomfortable. The referee said solemnly, "The drawing begins, please witness it from both sides." In the waiting area below the stage, Wang Yan nervously grabbed the armrests of the chair. For Shrek, team battles are naturally better for the game, for Soul King level experts are enough to crush Zhengtian Academy with absolute strength. Everyone waited with bated breath for the results of the draw, and at this moment, the results came out. Seeing the results of the lottery, Long Outyan smiled in his heart. This method is undoubtedly more suitable for their team. Kai Kun on the other side naturally saw the results of the lottery and also smiled. The referee loudly said, "Shrek Academy vs Zhengtian Academy." The game was drawn as a personal confrontation. Both sides send one person to fight until one side is completely defeated. Hearing the referee's announcement, the audience became excited. Compared to team battles, they prefer to watch individual battles and 2-2-3. It's not that the team fight isn't good to watch, it's that it's so good to watch. There are a lot of fancy skills, but they are not very strong and cannot understand them at all. But individual battles are different. They have enough energy to watch the game. Long Outyan slowly walked off the stage, looked in the direction of Han Yu and nodded. "I'll be the first in the individual competition." Han Yu sneered and looked at Shrek on the other side, who was also arranging the number of people. Others naturally had no objections, but Long Outyan gave up. "Brother Han Yu, after you finish spanking, I will be next. I have been holding back for so long, and I also want to move my hands and feet." After saying that, he seemed to be gearing up for a while, and gave someone from the Shrek team a sharp look. "Okay, Brother Outyan, I will replace you when I have no strength." Han Yu replied indifferently. "Good. I'm sorry, Brother Outyan, please let me have a good time this time." The first person sent by Shrek Academy was Kai Kun, a man with the sole skill of hearing a chicken and dancing. "Please ask the Zhengtian College representative team to send out team members," the referee urged. "Then, I'll go first." Before Han Yu finished speaking, the surroundings were suddenly filled with the buzzing sound of electricity, like thousands of birds chirping in his ears. Immediately afterwards, a deafening thunder broke through the silence, and the entire space seemed to tremble at this moment. At that moment, his figure turned into a beam of blue lightning, flying through the clear sky, breaking the solemn atmosphere of the game. Then, there was a loud bang on the competition stage, which was as shocking as the heaven and earth opening up. The anxious breath filled the entire space, forming a symphony of battle with the sharp sound of thunder and lightning tearing the air. The audience was instantly shocked by this miraculous sight and shouted loudly for a while. Immediately afterwards, in the lightning, a handsome young man showed his form. He seemed to be born from the hands of the god of thunder, and landed steadily in the center of the competition stage with an incredible heroic posture. His body gently leans forward and then slowly straightens up, symbolizing respect and preparation for the coming battle. He reached his right hand behind his back and gently touched the hilt of the sword that was like his comrade in arms. His face was full of coldness and determination. "Zhengtian Academy, Han Yu," the faint voice resounded throughout the square, and the momentum instantly left the audience speechless. The rest area of the Sun and Moon Royal Soul Engineer Academy, Xiao Hongqian stared blankly at the cold rain falling from the sky, a trace of dissatisfaction flashing in his eyes. Who is this guy? If he pretends like this, he will be struck by lightning sooner or later. He originally thought that he was already arrogant enough, but he didn't expect that there was someone even more ostentatious than him. This person will be my lifelong rival. Xiao Hongqian raised his head slightly and grasped the armrests of the sofa tightly with both hands. He admired Han Yu's gesture very much. I finally found someone who is in the same world as me. Ha 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 ha. Xiao Hongqian looked up at the sky, put his hands on his hips, and couldn't help laughing. Brother, why are you crazy? There are so many people watching. Please pay attention to me, it's so embarrassing. Feeling that the surrounding team members were looking at Xiao Hongqian with strange eyes, Meng Hongqian couldn't help it, her pretty face blushed, and she stretched out her small white hand and pulled Xiao Hongqian's sleeve. Sister, leave them alone. Mortals will not understand the world of geniuses like us. Sister, do you believe that a person will have a lifelong rival? Xiao Hongqian turned to look at Meng Hongqian, his face full of seriousness. Hearing this, Meng Hongqian knew that his brother was sick again. He said with a speechless face, Brother, can you be normal? There is no lifelong rival. The strength of two people is not static. Unexpectedly, Xiao Hongqian nodded in agreement. You are right, sister, the strength cannot be exactly the same, but the concept can definitely be the same. He is my lifelong rival. Xiao Hongqian suddenly stretched out his finger and pointed at the thunderous cold rain on the competition stage. Looking at his gesture, his eyes were full of appreciation. It's a pity that my martial spirit cannot generate electricity. Meng Hongqian looked in the direction of his finger. The next moment, his heart suddenly tightened, and a small star flashed in his red eyes. He's so handsome. Sister, I'm not asking you to see if he's handsome or not. See if his temperament is similar to your brother's. Xiao Hongqian said dissatisfiedly. Maybe his sister was paying attention to the wrong place. It's so similar, you're not as handsome as him. Pfft. The knife stabbed in, on top of the imperial city. Su Jiawei twitched his lips when he saw Han Yu's arrogant entrance, and couldn't help but say, this guy's name is Han Yu, right? This look is too pushy and not stable enough. You are right, Jiomei. There was silence. Su Jiawei turned his head and looked at Su Jiujiu. Her eyes were fixed on the young man in the field. Her breathing was slightly short, and her pretty face was slightly red. Su Jiawei stroked his forehead helplessly. It seems that all girls like this trick. Even Jiomei has fallen for it. On the competition stage, the referee stayed awake enough and said solemnly, both sides retreat, and you can only use your martial arts until I announce the start of the competition. Do you understand? The two nodded at the same time, then turned and left. Wait until both parties are ready. The referee's hand was raised high and swung downwards. Shouted, start. Point 2 yellow, 2 purple and 1 black. The best combination of soul rings rose from Kai Kun's feet. A breath of Soul King suddenly emanated. On the other side, Han Yu closed his eyes slightly, and 3 soul rings, 1 yellow, 2 purple, appeared at his feet. Drink. I thought he was so powerful, but I didn't expect he was just a soul master. Kai Kun saw the 3 soul rings at Han Yu's feet and felt calm in his heart. Han Yu originally seemed to be fierce and suppressed her as soon as she came on stage. He thought that the other party was a soul king like him. I didn't expect it to be just a soul lord. Why is it the soul lord? The person opposite is the soul king. This is going to be difficult. Han Yu's performance on stage just now attracted a lot of popularity instantly. Coupled with his handsome appearance, it is easy for people to like him. At this time, many female viewers couldn't help but worry about him. Han Yu, be careful. That Kai Kun across from me, don't hurt my Han Yu, or I want you to look good. Kai Kun's expression changed. He glanced at Han Yu with some jealousy, and then he felt cruel and rushed towards Han Yu. Han Yu ignored the reaction of the audience. His eyes were closed tightly and he stood quietly, like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Isn't that kid scared? People are rushing over to him, but he's still standing there. The male spectators watching the battle burst into laughter. Next moment, Kai-kun had already rushed 10 meters away from the cold rain, and his third soul ring lit up. Wukuin strikes. At this moment, Hanyu, who had closed his eyes tightly, finally moved. His left eye opened instantly, a scarlet light shined, and the mysterious windmill pattern started to rotate. A cold voice came out of his mouth. Tsukuyomi. Tsukuyomi, please subscribe, please vote. Chapter 98. Just because you are so beautiful. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Kai-kun's dancing hand suddenly froze, the space rotates, and a dark red space descends. Where is this place? I can't move. Looking at the surrounding environment, Kai-kun rubbed his eyes and found that he was tied to a cross. Welcome to my Tsukuyomi space, where you will meet the real owner of the Kun martial spirit. Enjoy it all. Hanyu's cold voice came from all directions. Wait. Don't leave. Kai-kun shouted subconsciously, but no one answered him. Where exactly is this place? Kai-kun looked at everything around him carefully. The entire space was dark red and there was no one except him. In front of him was a big stage, and he didn't know what it was for. At this moment, a piece of music sounded. He has a very slender figure and a very handsome face with a feminine beauty. He stretched out his white arms and started. Who is he? Kai-kun was full of doubts, but the man in overalls on the field ignored him. His body quickly started to move with the music. Magical music continues to sound in this space. Kai-kun looked at it for a while and thought it looked pretty good, so he couldn't help but admire it. Soon the time passed and the song ended, over and over again. It was fun at first, but as the number of times increased, Kai-kun finally couldn't stand it anymore. Shut up, stop singing, kill me. Kai-kun's eyes were dull, looking at the man in overalls who was constantly shaking. In the world of Tsukuyomi, space, time and quality are all under my control. In the next 72 hours, this man will dance in front of your eyes. Puff. In an infinite loop, Kai-kun finally couldn't help foaming at the mouth and fainted. Outside world, everyone only saw that Kai-kun's body stiffened, then foamed at the mouth and fell unconscious. Kai-kun. Referee, let's admit defeat. Wang Yan exclaimed and quickly ran onto the stage to help Kai-kun up. Just because it's so beautiful. Kai-kun muttered to himself in a coma. What's so beautiful? Wang Yan glanced at the pale Kai-kun, then turned to look at Hanyu. Hanyu, what happened to him? Hanyu said coldly, don't worry, I just let him see what dancing is. He may not be able to accept it in his heart, and he may have to lie down for a month. Hanyu showed no mercy when using Tsukuyomi this time. With his current mental strength, Kai-kun will have to stay in bed for at least a month. What? A month? How could you do such a heavy hand? Wang Yan raised his head and looked at Hanyu with disbelief. 1 month means that Kai-kun will not be able to play basketball or games in the future. I've shown mercy. Hanyu sneered. If he wanted Kai-kun to die, it would be very simple, directly change the environment, then trick him into dying, and wait until he believes the fact of his death in the Tsukuyomi world, then the physical body in reality will also die. This is already very merciless. At least you can be alive and kicking after resting for a while. Referee, I protest, this is already killing someone. Wang Yan said dissatisfiedly to the referee, although Kai-kun is not dead, he will not be able to play in the next game, and he can now announce that he is off the plane. The referee was immediately in a dilemma. On the one hand, Hanyu did not kill anyone, on the other hand, Shrek Academy is not easy to offend. Boy, Kai-kun must have been hit by your soul skill. If you untie him, you will win this game. At this moment, a sloppy old man walked up from the stage step by step. As he took a step forward, a soul ring rose up from beneath his feet. Yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, 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 red. A total of 9 soul rings rose up, especially the last blood-red 100,000-year-old soul ring. The violence and madness in it immediately shocked the entire audience. Everyone stared blankly at the sloppy old man in the field, with a touch of respect on their faces. This is a titled Douluo. Still a super strong man with 100,000-year soul ring. Now, that boy is going to be deflated. Some viewers were shocked, while others felt sorry for Hanyu. Some people even began to persuade him to undo the illusion. Su Jiawei on the top of the city twitched his lips. Your Majesty, do you need me to dissuade you? Tian Sha Douluo asked with his hands raised. Su Jiawei shook his head and said, forget it, let's see how Shrek Academy handles it. It's not appropriate to offend. Hanyu looked at the sloppy old man calmly, with a hint of sarcasm on his lips. Is this Mr. Xian's plan to use force to suppress others? Mr. Xian glanced at Hanyu and snorted angrily. Humph. This is an outstanding student, a genius less than 20 years old, and a strong man on Douluo continent in the future. Now that you are unable to participate in the next competition because of your soul skills, tell me, should you be responsible for this incident? As he spoke, he turned around and walked to Kai Kun, bent down and picked him up. The soft yellow light instantly poured into Kai Kun's body, exploring his body. I didn't expect it to be so serious. My energy is almost gone. I can only rest and recover from now on. It's just that it's been too long. Thinking of this, Mr. Xian became even more angry, and his old eyes stared at Hanyu. Understood or confused? He was just mentally attacked. He was not under any illusion. He can just wait for recovery. There is no need to resolve it. Hanyu glanced at Kai Kun. The spiritual soul master looked like this. If you can't bear it, you will only get injured. Mental injuries are not as painful as physical ones, and they take a long time. After getting the expected answer, Mr. Xian was not satisfied. Now that such a combat force is lost, Shrek Academy's strength will be greatly damaged. Okay, let's admit defeat in this game. At this point, Mr. I can't control other people, but if such a precious child of mine is hurt again, I can't guarantee that you will be able to leave the competition stage safely. After saying that, Mr. Xian flashed his body, turned around and left the competition stage. Threat, naked threat. I'm not allowed to use it, but I still want to use it. Let's see what you can do to me. Hanyu's eyes flashed coldly and he laughed angrily. Wow. Seeing Shrek Academy admitting defeat, the audience was in an uproar. Unexpectedly, Hanyu, who only had the strength of the Soul King, could kill Shrek's Soul King instantly. What kind of monster is this? It's even Shrek than Shrek. They were dumbfounded. With such talent and strength, they probably wouldn't be able to find anyone in the entire competition. Zhengtian College rest area. When Long Outyan saw Mr. Xian appear, he slapped the table and stood up instantly from where he was sitting. Elder Langya, Shrek's guys are bullying the younger ones. We might as well invite the sect leader. Langya, who was sitting in the front seat, also had anger overflowing from his eyes. He took a deep breath and grasped the armrests of the chair tightly with both hands. My fingers turned white due to excessive force. Outyan, don't worry, the sect master is watching. Let him be arrogant for a while first. On the competition stage, Hanyu silently felt the body's reaction after releasing Tsukuyumi just now. As he expected, although there are still side effects, they have been reduced to the greatest extent, and now the pupil power has gradually begun to recover. As long as it is not used multiple times a day, blindness should not occur. He gently rubbed his slightly sore eyes. I can still bear this level. Perhaps we can try another pupil technique next, but once this pupil technique is used, people may die. The referee waved his hand in the direction of Shrek's representative team and said solemnly, Shrek's next opponent is invited to come on. Wang Yan's face in the audience was a little ugly, and his eyes were looking back and forth in front of several people. The team members who were glanced at subconsciously lowered their heads. They saw Kai Kun's miserable situation. If it were a normal soul master, they wouldn't be that afraid, but the mental attributes and combat power are really unreasonable. If you can bear it, you can fight. If you can't, you have to stop. This price is too high, and most people really can't bear it. Teacher Wang, forget it if you are an ordinary soul master. This kind of spiritual attribute is too difficult to deal with. If your mental strength is too low, you might be restrained to death. Bebe whispered. Wang Yan nodded. He didn't know how many people had been restrained. How about? Let's admit defeat in this game. It's a round robin anyway, so losing one game doesn't matter. Seeing his morale declining, Wang Yan began to retreat. No, I don't agree, at this moment, a shout sounded. Ma Xiaotao stood up with red eyes and glared at Han Yuhao on the competition stage. Shrek must not lose, this is our honor. Moreover, Kai Kun was so seriously injured, this matter must not be let go. Wang Yan frowned and couldn't help but said, but there is currently no one here that can withstand the cold rain. You know, the price of losing is basically not having a chance to compete. Humph. What are you afraid of? His moves can defeat the Soul King with the Soul Lord, so he must not use them casually. I will take part in this game myself. As long as I don't look into his eyes, I don't believe he can make a difference. Ma Xiaotao snorted angrily, stood up and walked towards the ring. Please subscribe. Please give your support to the author. He has been working very hard on coding until midnight every day. Chapter 99 The Power of God. Susanoo. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiaotao, your injury is not healed yet. Forget it, let her go, her injury has healed for the most part, the impact is not very big. Xian Lao sat aside and said lightly. Wang Yan nodded, and then he didn't know what he thought of, his eyes lit up, and he looked at Huo Yuhao, walking to his side, he whispered, Yuhao, you will use your assist Ma Xiaotao later. Yes, Teacher Wang. Huo Yuhao nodded quickly. Ma Xiaotao, who had a bun on her head, jumped up and jumped directly onto the competition stage. Huh. I didn't expect Shrek to send Ma Xiaotao out. Isn't she injured? Han Yu was a little confused. After carefully feeling it, her breath was indeed a little unstable. Hey, your name is Han Yu, right? Ma Xiaotao held her chest with both hands, her full chest was high, and a hint of coldness flashed across her face. Yes. I heard that you were also from our Shrek Academy before, why did you leave Shrek? Ma Xiaotao's eyebrows immediately turned upside down, and her eyes stared at Han Yu with burning eyes. Not suitable, what your Dean Yen Xiaozhe did to me is simply shameless. And he is selfish and short-sighted, and he treats people as fools. You don't look like a teacher at all. I think he probably became the dean by practicing. Han Yu glanced at Ma Xiaotao with disdain, and her sarcastic tone immediately made her angry. Shut up, you dare to insult my teacher. How can it be considered an insult? I'm just telling the truth. You. Ma Xiaotao pointed her finger and was about to get angry. Are you playing a game, or are you just talking nonsense? Hurry up and retreat. At this moment, the referee on the side became a little impatient and hurriedly stopped the two. Humph. I'll show you what I can do later. Ma Xiaotao snorted angrily and turned to walk to the back. It's still unclear who will be the one to suffer. You must pay me back for the past grudge today. When the referee saw that both sides were ready, he raised his right hand high and then dropped it heavily. Start. Phoenix wings flying. As soon as the referee finished speaking, Ma Xiaotao impatiently used her third soul skill, and a pair of dazzling huge fire wings appeared from behind her. The whole person flew up out of thin air, and with the blessing of this soul skill, his attack range could be increased by 50%, and the temperature of the flame increased by 100%. Phoenix rising in fire, the second soul ring was also lit at this time. Ma Xiaotao's whole body was burning with flames, and all attributes of the fire power were improved, and her flying speed became faster. Flying soul masters are so annoying. Han Yu shook his head, and a sense of vigilance rose in his heart. Ma Xiaotao's flame temperature was very high. Even if he was 100 meters away, Han Yu could feel that the temperature around him had risen a few degrees. 100 meters away was reached in an instant, and Ma Xiaotao sprayed a line of fire from high altitude. First soul skill, Phoenix Fire Line. The terrifying high temperature instantly attacked Han Yu. The temperature is very high, you can't take it head-on. Sizzle. Lightning instantly covered his whole body, and Han Yu slammed his right foot into the ground, leaving a charred black. The whole person instantly appeared not far away. Evil Fire Phoenix. Today, I will let you see the power of the ultimate ice. Ice Emperor. Lend me your power, Han Yu whispered in his sea of consciousness. I know. A crisp voice sounded, and Han Yu's body was suddenly covered with emerald green, and a crown suddenly appeared on his head. The original black hair turned directly into emerald green after being covered by the emerald green light, from top to bottom. A pair of eyes turned yellow, and the two arms were covered with ice crystals, turning into hard front claws. Then, behind the slender body, a scorpion tail with 5 sections appeared, shaking irregularly. Behind it, a shadow of an ice-green emperor scorpion about 1.5 meters long appeared in the air. The extreme cold instantly filled the entire competition arena. One side was fire, the other side was ice. The two sides were fighting each other, neither of them would give in. Logically speaking, I should be able to give you more power now, but for some reason, I can't do it now. I can only raise you to the same level as her. The Ice Emperor in the Sea of Consciousness looked at Han Yu's current appearance with interest. He couldn't help but sighed. It's quite good looking. The Ice Emperor seemed to like Han Yu's half-human, half-scorpion appearance very much. This is the first time I use this power. Let's call it the Ice Emperor mode. Han Yu also had some guesses in his heart about the fact that the Ice Emperor said that he couldn't give him all the power. In order to obtain all the power of the Ice Emperor must trust him enough. As for how much, Han Yu estimated that at least the Ice Emperor would have to be unreserved in any aspect for him to be dash. With his current relationship with the Ice Emperor, it can only be regarded as a partnership, and the trust can only be said to be average. However, the current strength is completely enough for him, although it is temporary. Shrek rest area. Huo Yuhao's eyes lit up slightly, his pale golden eyes sparkling, and without anyone noticing, a wave of spiritual fluctuation spread to the competition stage. Ma Xiaotao, who was flying in the air, was shaken, and her vision suddenly changed. The 360-degree scene around her instantly appeared in her mind. Thank you, Huo Yuhao. Teacher Wang, I'm fine now. Huo Yuhao breathed a sigh of relief. Mental detection sharing has been started. Don't be pressured. For the glory of the college, we must do everything possible to win the game now. Wang Yan patted Huo Yuhao's shoulder and said comfortingly. Huo Yuhao nodded. He didn't have any objections to Ma Xiaotao on the help desk. This is the breath of the Ice Emperor. Why does the Ice Emperor's aura appear here? Did she be killed by someone to hunt for the soul ring? Just when Huo Yuhao was trying his best to maintain mental detection, Tianmeng Iceworm's incredible voice sounded. Brother Tianmeng, you said the Ice Emperor was one of our targets last time, Huo Yuhao said with some doubts. Yeah, Yuhao, I originally planned to let you get the Ice Emperor. Now it seems that someone has already taken advantage of it. It's okay, Brother Tianmeng, Brother Zhu is pretty good too. After these few days of competition, my soul power has improved by 1 level. Compared to the Ice Emperor, Huo Yuhao still prefers the Ice Fang Demon Pig King. He really felt what it meant to ride a rocket. The speed at which this soul power increases is simply faster than the innate full soul power. Yuhao, you don't know how the Pig King can compare with the Ice Emperor. The Ice Emperor is the ultimate ice. Do you understand what ultimate attributes are? Even though I am a million-year-old soul beast, I don't have the ultimate ice either. Tianmeng Bingxi's tone was full of hatred that iron could not be transformed into steel. Besides, my Bing Bing is gone. On the competition stage, flying in mid-air, Ma Xiaotao's beautiful eyes flashed with shock at such a powerful ice attribute soul master. He actually suppressed his own evil fire. Could it be the ultimate ice that the teacher said? The teacher said that with the help of a soul master with the ultimate ice attribute, her evil fire could not only be eliminated, but it might also turn into a real ultimate fire. I didn't expect this kid to be the ultimate ice, so I'll be merciful. Thinking of this, Ma Xiaotao's offensive slowed down a little, and another line of fire spurted out. Snort. Han Yu snorted softly, and a puff of white air suddenly spurted out from his nose. The extreme cold froze the entire competition stage into an ice sculpture, with ice blocks covering the entire arena. Oh! So cold! What kind of martial spirit is this? Although there is the isolation of the protective soul guide, the ultimate ice is not so easy to block. The cold spread towards the auditorium, and everyone shivered from the cold. Han Yu stretched out huge ice claws, covered with thick ice crystals, shining with cold light, like the cold sun in winter, forming an almost invulnerable defensive barrier. In the air, due to the glow of ice crystals, a phantom-like shimmer appeared, making the surrounding air even more mysterious and vast. Break! A low shout seemed to come from the depths of the cold glacier, shocking the soul. In this low cry, the phoenix fire line was like a flame in the scorching summer sun, colliding head-on with the Ice Emperor's mastiff, which was like eternal frozen soil. In the surrounding air, the cold air and flame stirred up by the impact intertwined into a magnificent light and shadow, reflected on the surrounding white ice. It creates a dreamy and desperate scene, however, the evil fire originating from the phoenix, despite its astonishing temperature. But when he encountered the extreme ice that was almost eternally cold, he showed a trace of powerlessness and hesitation. Phoenix Fireline, in this duel between ice and fire, was finally completely swallowed up by the white and cold ultimate ice. Like a meteor on a summer night, streaking across the dark sky, it will eventually fall into the endless cold. How can it be? Ma Xiaotao's eyes widened. She didn't expect that her evil fire would be swallowed up in just one turn, which she couldn't accept. I don't believe that ultimate ice is really that strong. I am the sole emperor. A hint of dissatisfaction flashed through Ma Xiaotao's pale pink eyes. As a genius in Shrek's inner court, her talent was second only to Zhang Lishuan. He has an unimaginable arrogance in his heart, and he even works hard to practice regardless of the evil fire backlash. Han Yu raised his head slightly and looked at the evil fire dissipating in mid-air, with a sneer on his lips. A mere evil fire dares to touch the ultimate ice. Ma Xiaotao's eyes flashed with anger and she shouted, "Don't get too proud too early." Phoenix cloud-piercing strike. The black light flashed away, and Ma Xiaotao's fifth soul ring suddenly brightened. The huge wings behind his back slowly condensed into a small flame phoenix about 1 meter long. This is her strongest single-target skill. When she explodes with all her strength, it can hurt Soul Saint. Take the move. Ma Xiaotao's pale pink eyes began to turn towards red, and her aura became stronger and stronger. With a wave of his white fingers, the miniature phoenix shot towards Han Yu. During the flight, the scorching heat caused the air to become distorted. Han Yu clasped his hands together, the big windmill pattern in his eyes turned crazily, and let out a low drink. Susanoo. Please subscribe. Please give your support to the author. He has been working very hard on coding until midnight every day. Chapter 100 Abuse of Ma Xiaotao. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As soon as the words fell, the air around him seemed to solidify, and an astonishing soul power wave, like the calm before the storm, came out of his body and instantly tore the ground of the competition platform made of huge stones under his feet. Bang! This loud noise, like thunder, shook the surrounding smoke and dust, and the gravel flew everywhere. Han Yu stood on the broken ground, with his right hand slightly tilted back, his left hand swung forward, his feet slightly bent, his head raised, his eyes fixed on the small fire phoenix flying at high speed in the air, his eyes full of contempt. The astonishing soul power condensed around him, forming pale purple skeletal ribs and arms, which tightly wrapped Han Yu inside, appearing both mysterious and powerful. Susanoo, the first form, that with his low roar, the skeletal arm waved gently, and an extremely powerful power wave emanated. The small fire phoenix flying in the air was suddenly struck by lightning, and it made a sharp cry. After a stalemate for a while, it finally dissipated into countless sparks in the air, like a dream that was cut off, scattered all over the ground. How is it possible? What is this? Looking at Han Yu tightly surrounded by bones, Ma Xiaotao screamed, her eyes full of disbelief, her heartbeat accelerated, her mind was in a mess, and she couldn't accept the unreal fact in front of her. She kept asking herself, how is this possible? This can't be real. Her thoughts were disordered for a while, and she felt as if she was in a dream. She had never seen such a strange and terrifying scene, fear and shock intertwined. Not only Ma Xiaotao couldn't believe it, but even the major colleges watching the battle and the strong men hidden in them were stunned and shocked to the point of being speechless. On the top of the city, Su Jiuwei's fingers tightly grasped the handrail beside him. His joints turned white, and a trace of shock and disbelief flashed in his eyes. His inner cognition was completely overturned by the performance of this handsome boy, and he murmured to himself, Soul power can actually penetrate the body and turn into substance, so that it is not only invincible in defense, but also in attack. What kind of monster is this? He couldn't calm down, and his astonishment was beyond words. Tiansha Douluo on the side was also trembling in his heart, his pupils shrank slightly, and he couldn't help but respond. Your Majesty, this method is similar to the martial soul of the Soul Saint. Shrek's student Xiaotao, I'm afraid you're in big trouble this time. He was secretly shocked in his heart and understood the seriousness of the matter. This kid may have a big secret to be able to use the method that only Soul Saints can use with the strength of Soul Venerable. Tiansha Douluo saw it, and Shrek Academy naturally saw it too. Everyone held their breath and concentrated, and their hearts were shocked. Wang Yan said with a worried tone, Xian Lao, what should we do now? Xiaotao will suffer a loss against this method. And the opponent has the ultimate ice body protection, or we. He had a thought of giving up in his heart. After all, this is just a round-robin tournament, there is no need to show all the cards, their advantage is still in the team battle. The sloppy old man Xian Lao was also very shocked. He didn't expect Han Yu to have such ability, it's really terrible. He is so powerful at level 40, when he cultivates to the title Douluo, I don't know who can be his opponent. It's a pity that he is no longer a member of Shrek Academy. I wanted to win him over, but I completely offended him last time. Thinking of this, Xian Lao's eyes flashed with murderous intent. Don't worry, Xiaotao's methods are more than these. Xian Lao smiled calmly, without showing any emotional fluctuations, and seemed to be confident. Okay. On the competition stage, after knocking away the small fire phoenix with one blow, Han Yu controlled Susanoo and began to move. After using Susanoo, Han Yu could feel that the pupil power in his eyes was being consumed quickly. Fortunately, it was only the initial form, and he could still control it easily. With Han Yu's current strength, he could only support the second form, the skeleton form, the third form. The flesh and blood form is not impossible to open, but the soul power consumed is too terrifying, and the maintenance time is very short. The cost performance is not very high. Even with the support of Bingdi, there is no need to worry about the soul power, but the pupil power still depends on himself. The fourth form after that is the armor form, which Han Yu can't open at all now. He tried to open it once, but it was just a moment, and he almost drained his soul power, and the pupil power consumption was too short. Speed is also faster. Although Bingdi can provide soul power, it is also extremely limited. The current trust between the two is not high, and Bingdi cannot provide him with more soul power, or the basic strength is too poor. Otherwise, if my soul power is enough, I can even walk with Susanoo. If you see someone you are unhappy with, just punch him. How cool it is, Han Yu thought to himself. But this is just a thought in his mind. Although he has opened the Mangekyō now, his foundation is not enough. Unless it is absolutely necessary, it is better to use the first and second forms. As for the fifth form of human form, and the last complete form, they all need the eternal Mangekyō to open. Now he is just a Mangekyō. Feeling the rapid consumption of pupil power, Han Yu's heart tightened. This battle still needs to be resolved quickly, otherwise even with the help of the gold of life, it will take a long time to recover. Let me show you the power of God in the Mangekyō Sharingan. Han Yu shouted, and controlled his arm to grab Ma Xiaotao in midair. Power of God. Stop bragging, that Ma Xiaotao sneered. Although Han Yu looked very bluffing, but after careful observation, she found that this skeleton-like skeleton was very slow, and its attack power was only physical means. With the advantage of being able to fly in the air, she could easily dodge it. The wings behind her shook, and she easily dodged the attack. Is this the power of God you mentioned? It looks good but is useless. Ma Xiaotao sprayed out a phoenix fire line. Puff, that the skeleton arm blocked in front of him, and extinguished it easily like slapping dust. Han Yu's face did not change, and he shook his head secretly in his heart. It's just that the initial form is indeed very weak. Although it has defense, its offensive means are relatively simple. Thinking of this, Han Yu's eyes flashed with cold light, and even more soul power was mobilized by him. The pupil power that surged out of his eyes seemed to be free of any cost, and was madly injected into the giant Susanoo in front of him. The surrounding air trembled constantly, as if he could feel the powerful force of the pupil power fluctuating in the space. What is he doing? Ma Xiaotao was full of confusion and doubt. her brows were furrowed, and her eyes were fixed on Hanyu. The next moment, the scene in front of him began to change drastically, as Hanyu used a large amount of soul power and pupil power to inject. Susanoo's body was no longer immature, but began to expand and swell amazingly. The surrounding air seemed to be sucked and compressed, causing a sense of oppression that made it difficult to breathe. Originally just a simple skeleton, it began to grow rapidly and gradually formed a complex skeleton structure. The skull was the first part to appear, with deep eye sockets and a kind of evil beauty. Then, two golden lights flickered in the eye sockets of the skull. They opened their eyes silently like newborn stars. Then, huge circles of skeletons slowly emerged in the cold wind. Every time a ring appeared, there was a dull echo in the air. Finally, everything stopped. Susanoo had turned into a domineering half-body giant skeleton, tightly wrapping Hanyu's body inside, appearing more powerful and mysterious. Susanoo, second form. Dang! Susanoo clenched his fist and punched Xiaotao in the air. Compared with the first form, the attack power and defense of this form are greatly improved. Xiaotao barely avoided this attack and had not yet recovered. The second fist also hit down. Boom boom boom. The fiery red wings flashed wildly, and a scorching air wave passed through the air. Susanoo's powerful attack force directly cracked the ground, and the scattered gravel was crushed into powder by the air wave. Hiss! It's so terrifying. Seeing this terrifying attack force, the audience cheered loudly, and everyone's face was full of enthusiasm and expectation. The huge projection screen magnified every detail of the attack, shaking the entire competition field. The terrifying attack force was like a mountain pressing down on the top of the head, making people hold their breath, although the fancy skills are also very beautiful. But real men like this kind of attack mode that can create miracles with great force. Susanoo not only looks domineering, but also very big. No one doesn't like big things. With one punch, the ground of the entire competition stage suddenly became devastated, and countless gravel turned into powder. The audience was so excited that they said that this game was not in vain. This attack is too terrifying. If I get hit, I'm afraid I'll be skinned alive. Xiaotao secretly smacked her lips in her heart, and a trace of panic flashed in her eyes. I can't let him lead me by the nose anymore. Use my strongest attack. Sixth soul skill, Phoenix Meteor Shower, Xiaotao shouted, and the last soul ring on her body finally lit up. Large scorching flames like meteors appeared in the air, as terrifying as the end of the world. The entire mid-air of the competition stage was rendered into a world of flames. As Xiaotao waved her arm gently, countless giant fireballs smashed down on the Susanoo on the ground like meteors chasing the moon. Look at me smashing your turtle shell. The flames on Xiaotao's body surged wildly, and she commanded the flame meteors like a goddess of fire. Boom boom boom. The next moment, the meteor collided with Susanoo. The terrifying high temperature instantly distorted the air. A trifle. Let Susanoo play with you. Hanyu's eyes turned cold, and the second soul ring quietly lit up. The whole person disappeared silently in Susanoo. Boom boom boom. The continuous Phoenix Meteor Shower collided with Susanoo crazily. Each punch of Susanoo smashed a meteor, but soon more meteors surged up. 2 fists could not beat 4 hands, and some meteors hit Susanoo's body. It seemed that Susanoo was at a disadvantage. Xiaotao panted heavily, and after releasing so many soul skills in a row, she finally couldn't sustain the consumption and landed on the ground. Humph, let's see how you block it next. Susanoo was hit by the meteor shower and retreated again and again. Xiaotao's eyes flashed with a hint of pride. Just when she thought she was about to win, a cold voice appeared in her ears. Really? You seem to be happy a little too early. Swish. Xiaotao's body shook, and she subconsciously turned her head to look at the source of the voice. Why are you here? Impossible. A scream sounded. The next moment, a touch of red light was injected into her eyes. Tsukuyami. The dark red space descended again. Where is this? Xiaotao, who was tied to the cross, opened her eyes in confusion. Welcome to my Tsukuyami space. Everything here is under my control, time, space, and quality. Seeing Hanyu appear in front of her, Xiaotao struggled frantically. Let me go, let's fight one-on-one if you can. You are a despicable villain who can only use illusions. As she continued to struggle, her beautiful body kept shaking, and her plumpness also looked extremely attractive. Han Yu clasped his fists across his chest, tilted his head slightly, and looked at Ma Xiaotao as if he were an ant. He said coldly, I am a spiritual attribute, I don't use illusions, do you want to fight me in close combat? It's really funny. Also, don't think this is an illusion. What happens here will also be reflected in reality. Resent your sad fate of not having a Sharingan. Enjoy it next. Ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha. The arrogant and terrifying voices came from all directions. Ma Xiaotao's face changed. She had never heard of an illusion that would affect reality. He immediately sneered, stop bluffing, this kind of illusion is impossible. Stop dash. Ma Xiaotao screamed in fear, her round cheeks lost color due to fear. What are you doing dash? Her voice trembled, tears flashed in her eyes. Swish dash. A crisp sound of clothing tearing broke the silence of the air, her gauze-like dress was torn to pieces by the rough hands, revealing her soft skin. Ma Xiaotao moaned, her facial expression twisted, full of pain. It hurts dash. Her voice was filled with helplessness and despair. Stop, she screamed again, the sound penetrated the cold space and echoed in every corner. Ma Xiaotao's eyes were full of panic, her big eyes were full of disbelief and fear, and her beautiful eyes were now red, swollen and wet. She had never experienced such fear of being bound. A feeling of powerlessness she had never experienced before filled her whole body. Her legs were limp, as if unable to support her plump body. Hanging helplessly, she kept twisting her body. The straps dug into her skin, leaving tiny marks. She tried to break free from the ruthless bondage, but to no avail. Time seemed to have stopped in this endless torture, and every second seemed to be stretched into a tormented life. Finally, time seemed to have passed everything. Ma Xiaotao's eyes drooped with a dull look, losing focus, and her eyes were white. Her body was like a puppet without a soul, allowing the bondage to dominate. The mess around her symbolized the pain and despair she had experienced. She cursed hoarsely. Damn bastard, you treated me like this, I will never let you go. Han Yu stood up indifferently, brushed off the dust on his body, and his tone was as calm as if he was stating the weather. Then, there are still 71 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds left. When Ma Xiaotao heard this, the fear in her eyes became stronger, and she screamed, what, there is still so much time. Her voice was full of despair and pleading, no, please. Her body instinctively wanted to stay away from Han Yu, but she was tied to the cross and couldn't move. She could only continue to bear it all helplessly, with questions and pain in her heart. Why do you treat me like this? As Han Yu approached again, she struggled instinctively. But in the end, Ma Xiaotao's movements gradually weakened, as if her strength was completely taken away. She let out a series of delicate groans from her mouth, and her voice was full of powerlessness and surrender. The picture turned upside down again. In reality, Ma Xiaotao suddenly trembled, then lay on the ground weakly, breathing in fresh air in big gulps. Tears filled her eyes and her face, and she raised her fingers with a slight tremor, as if she was going to kill Han Yu. Damn bastard, I'm going to kill you today. How dare you humiliate me? Phoenix possession. Ma Xiaotao, who was about to use the power of the martial spirit, softened and fell down weakly. Don't waste your energy. You are worse than an ant now. Han Yu crossed his arms, his eyes arrogant, without a trace of emotion. He looked at Ma Xiaotao, who was struggling with the corner of his eyes, his tone full of contempt. He had no burden in his heart for what he had just done. Ma Xiaotao almost killed him at the beginning. At that time, he had no strength and no background, he could only endure temporarily. Now it is different. With the opening of the Mangekyō Sharingan, he has enough strength. He is just taking revenge now. Besides, he is not a good person and does not have so many burdens in his heart. He is just an ordinary person who is a little selfish and never boasts about how good he is. This is just the first step to take revenge on Shrek Academy. It turns out that the feeling of controlling others is so good. I really like it so much. Han Yu's eyes were full of excitement and he couldn't help laughing. At this moment, a burst of crying came. Woo woo woo, at this moment, Ma Xiaotao wanted to die. The flames in her hands surged and soon disappeared in an instant. At this moment, she suffered a major blow not only mentally, but also physically. On the surface, it seems to be no different from usual, but the specific process is only known by Han Yu and Ma Xiaotao. It was 3 days and 3 nights. The battle between the two was crazy. The entire moonlight space turned into a battlefield between the two of them, and there was a mess everywhere. Boy, what did you do? Please subscribe. Everyone, please support the author. I have been working very hard on writing, and I write until midnight every day.